Hi guys, so I'm going to run through a Pilates routine with you. It's important that you listen to your body and do what feels comfortable for you, so I'll be teaching it at all levels. Level 1 being your base option, your beginner option, and then building it up gradually from there. Just remember, when you've actually got the hang of each exercise, to keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. I know it's we're looking to see a device, but once you've got the concept of the exercise, try and keep that head in place. Just gives you better alignment through the spine, more effective for you. So I need to get you in a standing position, talk to you about your core, your breathing, your neutral spine. Then I get you a little bit mobile, and then we get down on the floor. So if you have got knee problems or back problems, there are a few adaptations that I will give along the way. And again, listen to the body. If it says no, then obviously take a step back and join back in when you can. So standing nice and upright, toes and knees point forwards, shoulders down relaxed. Make sure that you're balanced and central. So you're going to gently rock from side to side, forwards and backwards, making sure you've got an even distribution of weight across both of your feet. You're then going to tilt your pelvis forwards and backwards. Imagine this is a bowl of water. Trickles over the front, over the back, gradually making the movement smaller so it'd be perfectly still. Got that natural lordotic curve, okay? Core muscles, the pelvic floor, the muscle from within, the one you would use to stop mid-flow. Now imagine that muscle is attached to a lift, and I want you to draw that muscle up from within, all the way up to floor number 10. Quite uncomfortable, so take it down to floor 5, and then down to floor number 3, and that's where you're going to hold it. We're going to try and maintain the feelings of being drawn up, okay? So if you imagine using a straw, and sucking up the straw to pick a pea up off the side, that is the kind of drawn up feeling that you should have. Then imagine you've got a belt around your middle with 10 notches on your belt. And I want you to draw that belt into notch number 10. Again, quite uncomfortable, so take it out to notch 5, out to notch 3, and leave it there. So we've got mild engagement through the core muscles. Now holding from the core, we will breathe from the rib cage. Hands on the ribs, fingertips touch. You're going to take a nice deep breath in. So the fingertips part, we're not moving our hands, we're breathing from the ribs. Take a deep breath in and release. So relax the arms down and just begin to pedal through your feet one side to the other, raising up the alternating heel, allowing your shoulders to gently rotate through one way and the other way. Place the feet flat down, lift up onto the toes and release. Good. Lift up onto the toes and release. You're going to take a step and reach out and over. Coming back into the center, you're going to go the other way. One leg lengthens, the other leg bends as you reach up and over. So you're lengthening through your waist. Lateral flexion. Last one here. Coming back into the middle. Toes and knees point forward. Bring the arms up. Take a breath in. Breathe out, gently rotate one way. Breathe in, come back to the middle. Breathe out, gently rotate the other way. Breathe in, come back to the middle. So you're gently rotating through your spine, spinal rotation, keeping those hips nice and still. And you're just going to take one more to each side for me, please. Now remember, I'm going to guide you through. You can, of course, rest at any time and release. Standing towards the back of your mat. Please feel free to take a drink as well if you need one. I often get a dry mouth when I'm talking all the time, so you might see me just take a drink, okay? So breathe in, take the chin to the chest. Breathe out, gently roll down through your back. Now I want you to soften your knees, allow your arms to hang and relax. And then when you're ready, gently roll back up through the spine, rebuild your back. As you reach the top, relax the shoulders, reset your posture. Breathe in, chin to the chest. Breathe out, begin to roll down through your back. Soften your knees, allow your arms to hang and relax. Then when you're ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, gently roll up, spine vertebrae by vertebrae. So it's like one block on top of the other, nice and neat. So we're going to roll down and we're going to make our way down to the floor this time. So chin to the chest, breathe out, gently roll down. At your lowest point, walk your hands forward so your feet stay flat on the floor. This is your downward dog position. Any problems with this position, or if you have high or low blood pressure, I'd like you to come to your knees instead, okay? Obviously, if you've got your head hanging downwards, you're going to have a blood rush to the head, and if your blood pressure isn't quite normal, it might make you feel unwell. So if you're in this box position, breathe in round the spine, chin to the chest. Breathe out and release. That's your cat stretch. If you're in your downward dog, you're going to breathe in, bring the knees forwards and down. Breathe out and place the feet flat. Breathe in, bring the knees forwards and down. Breathe out and push back. So your core muscles are engaged. As you come back up, try and get those feet down. So we're going to hold it down this time, knees just above the floor. Then place the knees down. We're going to take our hands out slightly wider than the shoulders. Box position is level 1. Breathe in, bring the chest forwards and down. Breathe out and push yourself all the way back up. Breathe in, bring the chest between the hands, not the head. Breathe out to come back up. If you want to go further, level 2, legs further away. Breathe in as you lower. Breathe out as you lift. If you want to go all the way, then you're up on those hands and toes. Hold breath into lower. Hold breath out to come up. Now listen, please be careful. Make sure your hands don't slip. If you're coming all the way up, make sure that those hands stay in place. On carpet, it's very easy for your hand to just slide, so be careful. You're bringing your chest forwards and down, working through the top of the back, around the chest and the shoulders. But we're also keeping our core muscles engaged, which means that they are also working. Breathe in, breathe out. And I'm going to ask you please for 2 more in your push-up. So it's slower than a press-up that you would do in the gym. It's more controlled. Once you've done those 2, I'm going to ask you to bring yourselves in. Elbows and forearms come down. You're going to look between your wrists, so your head and neck is in line with the spine. Then you're going to draw your pelvis up, and that is your level 1 leg pull. You should feel like your belly button is being drawn up towards the ceiling. Level 2, knees come up off the floor. If you want level 3, make sure that your hands are not too wide, they're under the shoulders, and you're coming all the way up. Make sure as well that you haven't got your bum stuck in the air, okay? You haven't got too much weight coming forwards. In all of those options, all 3 options, make sure your back is nice and flat, belly button drawn up towards the ceiling. You're holding the position. Deep, full breaths from the rib cage. I'm going to ask you please, in your level, for 2 more breaths, then you're going to gently lower all the way down onto your front. So once you're on your front, you're going to bring your arms into like a capital E position, okay? So your forehead will be down, elbows in line with the shoulders. Touch your big toes together and drop your heels out. I don't want you to lift your legs, okay? And I don't want you to squeeze from your bottom. Imagine you've got an ice cube underneath your belly button. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, peel the chest up, look down at the floor, and then breathe in to gently lower. Breathe out, peel the chest up, looking at the floor. Breathing in to gently lower. Remembering to keep those legs down, to keep the bottom relaxed, and draw up your belly button. This is swan dive. It's mobility and strength through your back and your core. And you're only coming up as far as comfortable. If you want to go a little bit further, guys, you can breathe out, come up, then take a breath in. As you breathe out, you can come further. Don't adjust the position of your neck. Keep it still. And then breathe in and lower down. So the movement is coming through the back. And when you lower, don't drop. Obviously do it nice and controlled. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in and hold or lower if you're not coming up further. And then lift up further on the exhale. So you're lifting up. You're coming away from the floor. You're breathing out. Yes? And then when you lower down to the floor, you're breathing in. Strength through the core. Deep, full breaths. And in your swan dive, controlling every part of the movement, I would like you please to complete up to 2 more repetitions. Breathe out as you lift up, slow and controlled. Deep, full breaths. In as you carefully lower. And once you've completed those 2, you're going to gently allow yourself to lower down and turn onto one side. And you're going to lengthen the body out. Your head is resting down on the arm. Now you've got to be in a nice straight line, okay? Toes pulled away, fingers pulled away. Hips, knees, ankles all stacked neatly, one on top of the other. Hand there for your balance. Breathe in. As you breathe out, raise both legs without rolling your hips forwards or backwards. Hand is there for balance or not. Breathe in lower, an inch from the floor, and then breathe out and lift back up. Breathe in and lower, an inch from the floor. Breathe out and lift back up. Those legs are in line with your body. The strength, the lift comes through the waist. You've still got this nice long posture. So that means your neutral spine, your core muscles there are still all in place and helping to lift and lower those legs. Side raise, this is called. Hand is there for balance. If not, you've taken it away. Another option here would be to take it all the way over. Only lifting those legs as far as comfortable for you. Now if you start to lift them and you roll, just make the movement smaller. I'm going to ask you please, keeping those legs together for 2 more breaths. And once you've completed those 2, you can gently allow those legs to lower all the way down. Now we're going to do a movement for your hip, okay? So I want you to bend your bottom leg and keep your top leg nice and straight. This time I would like your toes pointing forwards so the sole of your foot is facing the wall, the side of the room. Head is down, breathe in. As you breathe out, lift this leg. Now your hand is there for balance, but if we don't need it, we're taking it away. Breathe in. As you breathe out, I want small but fast rotation. Breathe in and hold, and then breathe out and go the other way. Now we're aiming for 5 little circles. So small, but 5 rotations. Every time you stop and breathe in, I want you to change the direction of your circles. Sole of the foot facing the side of the room, toes pointing forward, and don't kind of let the whole body roll. That movement just comes from the hip. Don't move the ankle, don't try and bend the knee. Keep keep that leg lengthened, toes forwards. So in your hip circle, please complete one more set of rotations in each direction. Then you can allow that leg to lower, and by all means give it a little rub if you would like to. And then I'm going to ask you to push yourself to sit. We're going to come into an exercise called the saw. You're going to bring your legs out to a straddle position. You're going to bring your arms out. Now both sides of your bottom need to stay on the floor. I want you to imagine that you've got a gym ball, one of those large inflatable balls in front of you. You have to come up and over towards the opposite foot. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, come up and over. So one arm's coming back and the other arm's reaching up and over. And then breathe in and come to the middle. And then breathe out and go the other way. Core muscles in and in place. Remember, lift up and come over. So you're lifting up from your rib cage, lengthening through your back. Good. So we've got mobility through your spine, strength through the spine and the core. With the small rotation means that you are going to be working through your obliques a little bit as well. That's your waist. Keep those legs nice and still. Both sides of the bottom stay down. Breathe out, lift up and over. Breathe in and return. I'm going to ask you please to do one more on each side. Remember, it's just guidelines. If you've done enough, that's absolutely fine. Once you've done those two, relax those arms and bring those legs in. Now, bent legs for me. I want you to keep your knees nice and still. Don't let them wobble, okay? Arms crossed is slightly easier. Arms extended will work you harder. I'm going to go slightly at an angle so you can see the movement of my spine. You're going to breathe in, tilt the pelvis under. Breathe out, rotate to one side. Breathe in, come back to the middle. And then breathe out and come all the way up. Not over, just back to where you started. Breathe in and tilt. Breathe out and rotate. Breathe in, come back to the middle. Breathe out, come all the way up. Chin off the chest. So we're in our oblique roll up. Working through the waist. Strengthening through the core and the lumbar spine. Deep, full breaths. Breathe in and tilt. Breathe out and rotate. Breathe in, come to the middle. Breathe out and come up. Now, only go as far as comfortable for you. Sometimes you'll see this exercise taught with just one breath in and out. I like to slow it down because it helps with your technique, okay? It makes the core muscles have to work a little bit harder because there's more control needed. I'm going to ask you please, you have got the option as well to have your legs out straight if you prefer. It's not going to make the exercise any more difficult. What it's going to do is make it slightly more comfortable if you've got short or tight hamstrings or maybe a lower back issue. And I'm going to ask you please, for one more to each side. And then once you've done those two, so that's 4 breaths, yeah? Breathe in and tilt, breathe out, rotate. Breathe in, come to the tilt. Breathe out, lift up. So 2 breaths per movement. Once you've done those, I'm going to ask you to carefully come down onto your back. So, as you come onto your back, I need you to find neutral spine, comfortable back. Should be able to touch your fingertips together underneath the small of your back. Your legs are bent, your core muscles are in place, hips are parallel. So if you imagine a spirit level, if I place it across your hips, bubble of air would be central and still. All the time, even with the movements that we're about to make. Shoulders down and relax. You're looking up, head in line with the body. Breathing in. As you bring one leg up to a right angle. You should be able to reach your knee with a soft elbow. Big bend, leg is too close, can't reach it, leg is too far. And just be careful not to let that heel drop. Right angle behind the knee. You can stay here or breathe in. As you breathe out, lengthen it and hold it still. Knees in line with each other. Deep, full breaths from the rib cage. Now you can stay here or breathe in. As you breathe out, bring up the upper body, chin off the chest, palms face down, breathe in, breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in and hold, breathe out, pulse. You can do the pulse with a bent leg as well if you prefer, okay? And then if you want to go further than here, you're bringing the other leg up, but you're keeping it bent and in that right angle. So here will be your maximum level. Core muscles zipped up, pulled in. Slightly easier, just that one leg lifted. Keeping the leg bent without the upper body. So they're all your options. We start here and that's where you can stay. Just find the option, the position where you are more comfortable. Deep, full breaths. And I'm going to ask you please for 2 more breaths with this leg. If you've got both legs lifted, take that bent leg down. Upper body comes down. Bring the leg back to bent. And then place the foot down. So we're not just lowering everything to the floor at the same time, okay? We don't want to jerk the back. So we do it as we brought it up, it goes back down in the same order. Other leg comes up, knee above the hip. Remember, level 1, stay here, nothing else. Core muscles in place, neutral spine in place. Breathe from your rib cage. Level 2, take that leg out, knees in line with each other. Level 3, add the pulse. You can keep the leg bent and pulse if you prefer. Palms face down, chin off the chest, breathe in, breathe out to pulse. If you're going all the way, other leg comes up, but bent, okay? Core muscles zipped up, pulled in, strengthen through the core. So just a recap over your options. Carrying on, just having that leg lifted, held and still, level 1. Adding the pulse with the leg bent or lengthened, up to you. And then having the other leg raised as well. Keep the chin off the chest, keep looking diagonally forwards. Good, keep that neck in line with the spine. Breathe from the rib cage. I'm going to ask you please for 2 more breaths. If you've got both legs lifted, bent foot comes down. Upper body comes down. Leg returns to bent. Foot returns down. From here, breathe in, breathe out, lift the other leg back up. 2 movements. Breathe in, breathe out to lengthen. One leg stretch. Don't let it touch the floor. Breathe in, bring it back in. Keeping it bent, breathe out, touch the floor, and then breathe in and lift up. Lengthen the leg, that's called one leg stretch, okay? The knee on the other leg remains still, and then keeping it bent, breathe out as if you're going to dip your foot in a bowl of water, and then breathe in to return. That's a scissor. Now the range of movement is entirely up to you. We're keeping the core muscles in place. Whilst this one leg is moving, the other leg remains nice and still. Strengthen through the core and the lumbar spine. The exhale, taking the leg away. The inhale, bringing it back up. And I'm going to ask you please for 1 more of each movement if you can, please. And when you've completed those 2, You're going to allow that leg to carefully come all the way back down. When you're ready, breathe in, breathe out, lift the other leg up, knee above the hip. Remember, always come back to this starting position. Breathe in, breathe out, lengthen, keep this knee nice and still. Breathe in and return. Keeping it bent, breathe out, touch the foot down. Breathe in, lift it up. Breathe out to lengthen. Breathe in to return. Breathe out to gently lower. Breathe in to raise. Just ask yourself, while you're working here, just ask yourself, are my core muscles engaged? Is my neutral spine in place? Am I using full, deep breaths? The breath controlling the pace of your movement. So if you're moving quite fast, your breathing is too quick. Deep, full breaths. The answer to all those questions, by the way, was yes. Strengthen through the core and the lumbar spine. And I'm going to ask you, please, for 2 more of each movement, controlling each movement through your breathing. Well done. Once you've completed that, allow the foot to come down, and you can give yourself a nice long body stretch if you want to. When you're ready, we're transferring onto our other side, and we are lengthening the body out. Side raise. Hand there for balance. Breathe in. Breathe out to raise the legs that stay in line with your body. Breathe in, they lower an inch from the floor. Breathe out, they come all the way up. Breathe in, they lower an inch from the floor. Breathe out, they come all the way up. Now don't be surprised if you're slightly stronger on one side than the other. That's normal. You will even out eventually. That head rests down on the arm. The hand is there for balance or not. Perhaps you're able to bring it all the way over. Try and keep those legs together. And as they lift and lower, make sure the rest of the body stays nice and still. Breathing out as you lift, in as you lower an inch from the floor. And in your side raise, please just complete 1 more. Then you can allow those legs to lower. You bend your bottom leg, top leg straight, toes point forward, sole of the foot faces the side. Breathe in, as you breathe out, raise. Breathe in, as you breathe out, circle. 5 circles. Breathe in and hold. Breathe out, change direction. So you're looking at mobility from your hip. Still strengthening through the obliques because the leg is raised. Still strengthening through the core and the lumbar spine because we've got our posture and trying to keep it in place. Hand is wherever you need it to be. Remember, only move as far as comfortable. Don't make it too big that the whole body wants to move. It is just through this leg. And I'm going to ask you, please, in your hip circle, 1 leg circle, remembering to change direction each time you stop and breathe in. For 1 more in each direction, please. And once you've completed those 2, that leg can come down. By all means, give that leg a little rub if you need to. From here, I'd like you just to bring yourself up into box position. We're going to slowly begin to stand. So push back into crouched position. If you need to hold on to something, move towards it, okay? Place the feet down, tuck the chin into the chest, breathe in, and as you breathe out, begin to gently roll up through the back. Rebuild the spine all the way up into that lengthened upright position. Making sure once you're on your feet, you're not lopsided, you are central. Keep the core and the neutral spine in place for as much of the day as you can remember. Lift up onto the toes, are you balanced? And release one more time. Well done everyone, remember the levels are there for you to use. Build yourself up gradually. If you have an off day where you're not quite so strong, use the lower levels. Well done, take good care of yourselves and see you again soon.